As someone who has made tens of thousands of dollars on MLB arbitrage betting, I've also made tons of mistakes over the last couple years, and those have cost me thousands of dollars. And in this video, I'm going to go over the top 3 types of bets that you want to avoid or at least be aware of to ensure that you're consistently profitable this MLB season. So the first thing to avoid is player props before the player has been confirmed in the lineup. Now, the reason for this is because if the player ends up not starting, that prop will void on certain sportsbooks, and other sportsbooks, it will remain intact as long as he has a plate appearance. And so before you place your arbitrage bets on a player prop, make sure that the player is in the starting lineup. The way that you would do this is go to Rotowire and check the starting lineups. It usually is announced a few hours before the game starts. And that way, you know that you're going to have both sides of the bet actually being in play. The scenario you don't want to happen is for one side of the bet to void and the other side of the bet to remain, because then you're basically leaving it up to luck if that one side of your bet actually wins or loses. And there's a good chance that it'll end up losing, costing you whatever you put on that one side of the bet. As an arbitrage bettor, we don't want to be put in a scenario where we're basically placing a regular sports bet and we're at the whim of if that bet wins or loses in order to be profitable. So you definitely want to avoid player props before the starting lineup is announced. The second thing to avoid is a game that's likely going to end in some kind of weather delay. Usually it's rain. In order to do this, you want to check the weather report for whatever game you're about to bet on, just to make sure that there's not a lot of rain incoming. If there ends up being a rain delay that ends up moving the game to the next day, there's a chance, once again, that one sportsbook on one side of your bet ends up avoiding that bet and the other sportsbook ends up counting the bet. So every sportsbook is different when it comes to these rules, but the way that you stay in the clear is just make sure that you're checking the weather report and not betting on games that are likely to have a lot of rain. The third type of bet that you want to avoid is a money line or run line bet that is tied to the starting pitcher before the starting pitcher has been confirmed. Usually, once again, this confirmation happens a few hours before game time. And if you're placing a same day bet, you oftentimes have the option between action and the starting pitcher to be tied to the bet. Always choose action when you have the option to do so. If you make a bet the day before or at some other time that there is no option, usually it'll just be action on default. If the bet requires you to lock in that pitcher, the starting pitcher, just avoid that bet completely. Simply choose money line and run line bets that are action, or if you really want to tie it to a pitcher, make sure that they've been confirmed in the lineup. And that usually happens, once again, a few hours before game time. So if you make sure that you avoid those 3 scenarios, number 1, player props before the player has been confirmed in the lineup. Number 2, a game that is potentially going to go into a rain delay. And number 3, a run line or money line that's tied to a starting pitcher. I think you're going to really see success with arbitrage this MLB season. If you want ongoing support through this MLB season in a community of people who are placing arbitrage bets every day, all you have to do is go to www.predictableprofits.co and you'll get my free course as well as my currently free Skool community. Once you're inside of that community, you'll get access to me and everyone else who's going through the arbitrage process. Some are more advanced, some are beginners, and we'll be there to support you as you continue to go through this process. If you have any issues with any of your arb bets, you can post them in there. If you have any questions that come up as you're going through the process, you can also post them in there. Additionally, I have my free course Predictable Profits inside of that group, as well as a bunch of other trainings that help people consistently profit with arbitrage betting. So thanks so much for watching this video. I hope it was insightful for you, and I'll see you on the next one.